Alright, we're here in another stream.
Keep my circle tight. Old doubts left behind. I'm built for the light. I save my energy for what feeds my fire. One good decision takes me higher, higher. I read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I trust my time. No cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus, I play my game. Step by step, I go. Step by
Alright,
step, I grow.
we're
Smart
live
moves,
again.
clean wins.
Today
Watch me
happens to be
take my
day
road.
six, the sixth of our weekly build, and it's in the second week. So the first week we did a complete build from starting off with no idea, coming up with an idea, and building a functional product in 5 days. This is a new week, and we want to see how far we can go. What can we build? Today, I actually don't have an idea what we're going to build today, but we're going to start exploring various ideas, and eventually by end of the stream, hopefully we settled on an idea that we're going to be building this week. If you have any ideas for me, just suggest them in the comments. I'm happy to take on those. But also, I'll walk you through my thinking process in terms of coming up with ideas and what one can explore in the way I think about it. Really, really excited. When I started the stream last week, I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but eventually it worked out. We're able to build a functional project, and I am super excited. And today I came in with my music. So let's listen to
Little
the
by
music.
little, I found my pace. New mind, clean step, sharp eyes on the prize.
Yep,
I learned from the fall, then I
I'm the DJ.
rise, then I rise, then I read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I
I'm the
trust my
DJ,
time.
the
No cheap
musician, the
applause, no
producer, the
borrowed flame.
director,
I keep my
all in
focus,
one.
I play my game. Step by step, I go. Step by step, I grow. Smart moves, clean wins. Watch me take my role. Step by step, I rise. Step by step, I know better every day. That's how winners grow.
Confirm.
I cut the noise out, keep my circle tight. Old doubts left behind, I'm built for the light. I save my energy for what feeds my fire. One good decision takes me higher, higher. I read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I trust my time. No cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus,
All
I
right.
play my game. Step by step, I go. Step by step, I grow. Smart moves, clean wins. Watch me take my role. Step by step, I rise. Step by step, I know better every day. That's how winners grow. I was not there yet, now I'm closer now. Every lesson hit made me stronger now. If the doors stay hard, I learn the lock. I don't chase luck, I build my stock.
All right, so let's get started. Today, we're going to start with finding the idea that we're going to build. So, in the day of AI, you can literally build anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. I know a lot of us have doubts about what you can build and what you cannot build, but the tools have sort of decentralized building of software to an extent that anybody at all can build anything. And I mean that, however, just like any tool, you need to be a master of the tool to be able to use it very well. So if you give a hammer to anybody who has no experience using a hammer versus if you give a hammer to a carpenter, there's going to be a difference in how the outcome is. The carpenter who has experience using the hammer is definitely going to be able to use the hammer efficiently and probably build something without tool. However, if you have no experience using a hammer, you might end up hurting yourself and you would come to tell us that, oh, the hammer has no use because it hurts you, right? But the guy with the experience or the person with the experience using a hammer would be able to use the hammer to build something. So, in the same way, with these AI tools that are now plenty, like they are too plenty, none of us has an excuse to not building anything. However, it takes some level of mastery, especially if you have no programming knowledge at all. You need to start playing with these tools. You need to start using them to gain experience in them. But if you manage to gain experience in them, you can literally build anything. And last week we built a French learning application, an application or a web app that allows you to learn French by talking to a friend. So we simulated a video call with a friend where you're trying to learn French. So this friend, you speak with them in French, but then they understand English, so they would be able to translate. You can always interject and ask questions, and that was what we built last week. This was just because when I started the streams last week, I was trying to find a problem that is useful to me. I mean, a problem that I face and I wanted a solution to. And I mentioned that I was trying to learn French. However, most of the resources for learning French doesn't really work the way that I have previously learned new languages. So I felt finding a solution to that will help. Today, let's begin to explore some ideas. What exactly are we building? I feel that last week's build, in as much as it involved using AI in terms of integrating AI into the application itself, I feel that it was pretty simple. So I'm wondering, like, can we do something more challenging this week? Something more challenging. So if you have any ideas, like whatever you are thinking about building, especially if it has AI components in there, like something that would leverage AI to do something, then feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm happy to take a look at it and see what we can work on. But where my head is right now, as I think about what to build next, there are a couple of things that come into mind in terms of what I would want to build. Not necessarily the products per se, but in terms of what I should leverage. There are so many things now. One of such that I'm thinking about is something that does a search on the web itself. Like now we have what we call AI agents, and AI agents are basically intelligent agents that does things for you. And if you're able to get an agent right, it would be some sort of an assistant that does things on your behalf. So just as you can have your human assistant and assign the human assistant some tasks and it just goes off and deliver the tasks, you can equally have your AI agent. You delegate tasks to your AI agent and it does it on your behalf. It does a lot of thinking because it is artificial intelligence. It is intelligent. For that reason, it's able to think and reason through things and come up with solutions. Right. So maybe we build some sort of AI agents. And if you don't know, AI agents is somewhat different from the chatbots that a lot of us are used to when we talk about AI, like ChatGPT and Co. Those are chatbots that you have to go and ask them a question and they give you an answer back. Those are chatbots. But when we take the agent is, if I ask my agent, for instance, let's say I want to do a research. If I want to do a research into a very challenging topic, let me take a specific example. Assuming that I want to research, let's say I want to review 10 different websites or 10 different articles. Let's go academic. Let's say you have 10 different articles to review in order to write a review paper for even academic publication. If you are going to use ChatGPT, what you probably have to do is you have to go find every one of those review articles, then provide it to ChatGPT, and now ask it questions. And based on that, eventually, based on the conversation that you have with ChatGPT, eventually you would come up with the final article. But if you had an AI agent that is responsible for doing research for you can basically give the AI agent the task. And in this case, your task is going to be, I want to analyze these articles and write a review paper based on the articles. Then you could explain or give some detailed prompt or context if you like. For instance, I would say come up with a hypothesis and do the research, review them, match them against these hypotheses, and draw a conclusion based on your findings and write a final academic paper for me. When I do that with an agent, the agent will autonomously go onto the internet, find all the papers that I'm talking about, do all the scouts. The same thing that if I had given that task to an assistant of mine to go and do, they wouldn't want me to babysit them and answer every single question for them to give me something back. If I gave that to an assistant, what you're going to do is go away with the tax and only return back to me if there is something really crucial that they need my input in. Otherwise, they would go finish it and bring me the finished work. That's what AI agents does. So when I think about building nowadays, I really lean more into building agents that does things for us. So I'm curious. I mean, if you have any idea what you would want an AI agent to do for you, then we can start from there. What would I want an AI agent to do for me? But one of the functionalities that I would really want is for the agent to be able to search on the internet. Search on the internet. So it should have some sort of web search functionality. So that means that we can build a solution where routinely we need to check something on the internet and maybe take a decision or do something based on it. I still don't have any idea yet, but that is definitely something I would like to explore. The agent, one of the characteristics of an agent is that it should have memory so that it remembers at least some of the things that if you gave it a task and it's going to take, say, 2 hours to complete the task, it should remember and not lose that memory. That, oh, this was a task, this is what I am supposed to be doing, this is what I have done. Because if you had a human assistant, they would remember. So the agent should definitely have memory. So now let's figure out what are some of the problems that we would want an agent to do. Let me see for myself. Nowadays, I've actually been using Claude, Claude, the agent in Claude, to do most of the things that I would want an agent to do for me. Like an agent that on daily basis go onto the internet and find information that are relevant to me. So, assuming that you had a human assistant, and this assistant's job is every single day, I want you to search on the internet and find me any news or new information around this specific topic. Find me that and summarize every finding for me. So we can basically create an AI agent that does that. One of them that I created on my own was an agent that goes onto the internet and search for jobs within a specific niche. So if let's say you are interested in applying, okay, let's try scholarships. I think that would be cool. People who want to apply for scholarships. Let's say you want to apply for scholarships, okay, but it takes a lot of time because you have to be searching the internet and looking for scholarships. Once you find a befitting one, then you have to start the application process. So basically you can build your own AI agent that searches the internet and finds you scholarships within the domain that you want, and maybe even write your application essay. So the agent is going to the work of the agent, and what I'm really interested in now to demonstrate and also to practice is the web search one. So we want an agent that on daily basis will search the internet for scholarships, and if you find a scholarship, it is going to probably rank the scholarship against my profile. So it will rank the scholarship against my profile and see if I am a match to that scholarship. And if it finds a match, maybe we provide it with a certain threshold value that if we have the match to be, say, greater than 70%, I want you to prepare my application based on the requirement of the scholarship. In this case, it means if, and I hope, let me confirm, but I hope my audio is audible on the mainstream. Just trying to confirm if the audio is audible on the mainstream. Let me put on the music.
Read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I trust my time. No cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus, I play my game. Step by step, I go. Step by step, I grow. Smart moves, clean wins. Watch me take my role. Step by step, I rise. Step by step, I know better every day. That's how winners grow. I cut the noise out, keep my circle tight. Old doubts left behind, I'm built for the light. I save my energy for what feeds my fire. One good decision.
All right, so confirmed that the audio is clear. Now we can proceed. So where what I'm thinking right now, and feel free to suggest in the chat if you have any suggestions on what we build. But I'm basically trying to figure out for the next 5 days what AI products do we build. And one of the things that I've highlighted is I would definitely love to see a product that has the web search functionality. This is something I implemented recently in an agent that I built, and I see it is pretty cool. I want to be able to test that out again. So we'll build an agent that searches on the internet for scholarships. This means that whatever you are searching for on the internet, you could swap scholarships for that. So if you are basically looking for jobs, it means if you're building this agent, you would be able to swap that agent to look for jobs instead of scholarships. And there are several ways to build agents, right? I am a software engineer. I like coding. There are tools that allows you to build agents without writing any code. But for the purposes of this particular live stream, we are still going to use AI agents to write code. So there are AI tools that enables us to write code such that even if you don't understand the code, to an extent, if you know how to use the tools and you learn or practice with it, eventually you're going to be able to build stuff. So my goal here is just to use those AI powered tools to build a solution. So I'm not using any drag and drop interface to build the agent. And I'm not saying it is bad. You can definitely build some of these things using simple no code tools or drag and drop tools. But what I want is if you had to build this into a complete product that you could potentially sell to someone, what would you do? That is my goal. I love building stuff and I enjoy the process of documenting what I'm learning, what I'm building. And that's why we're doing this stream, just so that you can also learn how these things are done. So, how I'm thinking about it right now is we are building some sort of agent that helps us apply to scholarships. That is basically it. So, the problem we're trying to solve would be the fact that applying to scholarships is a lot of work. I have been there, I've applied to a number of scholarships, I've won a number of scholarships, so I know that it is not easy to apply to scholarships. In fact, finding the scholarships, finding the right scholarship is easily challenging. Then, when you find a scholarship, how to know whether you even qualify for it. Then, after you are certain that you qualify for it, how to get the best application for that particular scholarship. It's all difficult. But our goal now is we're going to try and build an agent that enables us to search for scholarships. So basically find the scholarships online. If it finds some matches, it's going to rank them against our profile, and we are going to set a threshold of greater than 70%. So if that threshold is met, that means that if the ranking or the scoring that we give it, if that scholarship made 70% of what we're looking for, then it should go ahead and prepare your application package. So we'll call it application package. Forgive my handwriting. This is not how I write. I write way better, way better. My writing is way better than you see here. So forgive my handwriting. I don't know what it is about writing on writing parts. Maybe I need to take my time to write my real handwriting. Okay, so now we have some sort of problem framing that we want to build. And we can just go ahead and start building, but that would be pretty immature. Anytime you want to build some of these things, what I recommend is at least do some sort of brainstorming. If you had a team, in even in the absence of AI, you would talk to individuals, you talk to a team, deliberate on the functionalities. Even if you are building alone, it is highly recommended that you think through it and come up with all the features that you want to build. And especially when if you don't plan it out and you start building, you'd realize that along the line you discover new things that you want to add on, and if you're not careful you add it on wrongly, or you would end up building features that are not necessary, or you would pay more attention to something that doesn't need more attention and pay less attention to something that needs more attention. So it's very important to have like a solid plan. Right now all we have is some sort of idea of what we may want to build, a problem that we may want to solve. And anytime we are deciding on the idea to work on, you want to pay attention to why you're choosing this idea. Okay, so if you're trying to build a solution to sell or for others to use, you want to confirm that is this indeed a problem that everyone that I'm targeting, the target user, really has. And if you're thinking about going to build a product and making money from it, then you need to also ask the question, does this solve a problem that they will be willing to pay money to solve? Sometimes it also becomes essential to understand how urgent or not the problem is, because that influences the buying behavior or purchasing behavior. If somebody is having a problem and they understand that indeed is a problem, but that problem is not painful enough and it's not urgent, you may build a best solution, but you still will not get them to pay you to use it. There are some problems that people would only seek for solutions if the solution is free. It's not that they don't want the solution, it's that it is not costing them enough for them to want to dip their hands into their pocket and bring out money to pay for the solution. So if your mindset about the problem that you're trying to solve is building a solution that you're going to solve, then it is essential for you to think about the economics. Like, ask yourself those questions and find it out by talking to real users. If you happen to be a potential user of the products that you're building, that would be really, really good. If you're solving a problem that you yourself have, for instance, last week's build, where we're building a French learning application, I said I needed a solution. So I was my own customer for that particular solution that we built. If you are your own customer, you it means you understand the problem. You have that same problem and you understand how people think about it, and people like that, what exactly they are looking for. Once you've established that, you can now proceed to figure out what are the functionalities or features that I need this application to have. Then you can put all of them together. So you start off with the problem. We have thought about potential solution or the idea of what the solution could be. Then once we have all of those, we would now convert this idea of solutions into some sort of features. If you work in a big organization where software is designed, these are usually not done by the same person. Everybody has the level of expertise, and some of these things are done by the management. So usually the management will identify what are the problems that we want to solve, then what are the kind of solution that we want to build. So the leadership would come up with those things. Then somebody else in the middle. Why have you stopped writing? Oh no. Sorry guys, my pen stopped writing. Okay, it's back now. So the problem and solution can be passed on to a group of people that you probably call, what's happening? Product managers. So you have the product managers who would now convert this solution idea into what you may call user stories, epics, features, requirements, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, all of those things, right? But if you are the only person building, you basically move to the step that I like to call PRD. That's basically what the product manager or the product management team would have done. They would end up coming up with something called PRD, which is the product requirement document. This will state every detail about what is required to build this solution. So if you are building a solution like this on your own, you want to identify what is the problem that I want to solve, what is the solution that I'm thinking about, then convert that idea into a PRD. And you can use any of the AI chatbots to help you create a PRD. Once you have that PRD, you can basically convert that PRD into some sort of you can convert that PRD into a comprehensive prompt that your AI agent will use to build the solution for you. Or if you are a bit technical, it will become your specification for development. So your spec document, and you can even take it a step further by generating an implementation plan for the PRD. Then you proceed to build them one after the other. And if you watch last week's stream, throughout the 5 days that we streamed last week, that's exactly what we did. We started off not knowing what we're going to build, figured out an idea or a problem that we wanted to solve, came up with the potential solution. Then we generated a PRD, converted a PRD into a prompt. We started building, but we also generated the implementation document, which we followed to build the solution. But even with that, before we started implementing, we created a prototype of the solution that we wanted, a prototype of the solution. So that is what we're going to do right now. We're going to start thinking about putting together this PRD and putting our thoughts together, brainstorming with the AI. Which AI should I even use? Which AI? Sometimes when the thing is not really a product that I am building, I oh my goodness. Sorry guys. There's fire alarm on. Hold on.
I trust my time, no cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus, I play my game step by step. I go.
Sorry. Fire alarm went on and was making very loud noise. Okay. So back to what we were saying. We were going to use one of the AIs, but I'm not even sure which one to use. My recommendation. Okay, let's talk about what I would personally use if I was building a solution. I found out that usually ChatGPT is easily accessible. Anybody can easily use that to work. But most of the time, when I have done it in ChatGPT and I've taken it to Claude, I would find lapses that are very tangible. So it makes me feel I haven't really tested this hypothesis very well, but it makes me feel that Claude does a better job at helping you scope out the product requirements for the solution you're trying to build. But I still sometimes start off with ChatGPT brainstorming, then get some sort of idea, send it to Claude. Claude will poke out the holes in the idea that I brought from ChatGPT. Then we would eventually figure out what the right thing is. So maybe we do something similar by starting off with ChatGPT and seeing what it will tell us to do. Okay, so maybe I use the audio and tell it what I'm thinking. I'm going to speak to chat now. Hi, chat. I'm thinking about building a solution for a problem that I'm currently facing. The challenge is that I need to apply for scholarships and it's taking all my time. Unfortunately, I do not have enough time to be scouting the internet every single time for a befitting scholarship. So I am thinking about building a web-based application, and this could be some sort of micro SaaS that I would use to one automatically search, or I mean the agent on its own searches for scholarships on the internet, tries to rank them or match them against my profile, and if it meets a certain threshold, it would now, based on the context of the scholarship, prepare my application package for me. So all I have to do is to review my completed application package, or the draft of the application package, as well as suggestions on how to win the scholarship. So, and probably a list of other scholarships that I could potentially qualify for that fell below the threshold. What I need from you right now is to help me scope out this idea and eventually come up with a comprehensive product requirement document. Okay, let's see. I hope it captures it. There are times where I've used this and it lost the context that I gave it. Okay, so it has been able to transcribe. I said, hey, chat, not jot. I'm thinking about building a solution for a problem that I'm currently facing. The challenge is that I need to apply. Let me hide this. Okay. I need to apply for scholarships and it takes all my time. Unfortunately, I do not have enough time to be scouting the internet every single time for a befitting scholarship. So I'm thinking about building a web-based application, say an AI AI agent that autonomously searches the web, either on a schedule or when manually triggered, based on certain search parameters or my entire profile. And this could be some sort of micro SaaS that I would use to automatically search, or I mean, the agent on its own searches for scholarships on the internet, tries to rank them or match them against my profile. And if it meets a certain threshold, it would then, based on the context of the scholarship, prepare my application package for me. So, all I have application package. So, all the scholarship requires, including drafted essays, essays, etc. for me. So all I have to do is to review my completed application package or the draft of the applications package, as well as suggestions on how to win the scholarship. So hey, I said so many souls in this. And probably a list of other scholarships that I could potentially qualify for that fell below the threshold. What I need from you right now is to help me scope out this idea and eventually come up with a comprehensive product requirement document. Good, good, good. Okay, so let's hear what ChatGPT has to say. ChatGPT is always gaslighting you. It's always telling you that your idea is the best idea that ever happened in the world. That this is a strong idea. Okay, it says, but the hard part isn't finding scholars, it's reliably structuring messy, heterogeneous data and generating credible tailored applications. Most attempts failed on those two fronts, not on the agent itself. So the scope should be disciplined from day one. All right, at least today there's not overhyping, which is better. Let me confirm they didn't show the version of ChatGPT being used. Okay, I wanted to be sure of the version because It is usually just playing a hype game. Will tell you all the nice things that you want to hear so that you feel that you are the smartest person in the world and nobody has ever thought about this. All the people who are doing it wrong. Then when you ask it to now tell you the reason why your idea is a very bad idea and is going to fail, then it will also come and give you all the reasons in the world that makes your idea a bad reason. So I usually like to do that. If I am thinking about a potential idea that I want to really go after, you don't just ask the AI and say, I mean, ask it whether the idea is good or bad. If you do that, it will tell you that, oh, your idea is the perfect idea. No, the people who are thinking about it, or if it doesn't hype you like that, it would suggest ways to improve it. And then it will say, okay, now this is the best idea. However, even after it has given you what it thinks is the best idea, if you ask it to give you the reasons why this would fail and tell it to be very critical, it is still going to come back and tell you all the reasons why that idea will fail. And if you understand how AI and LLMs in general work, you would appreciate what is happening. So you wouldn't be frightened when that happens. So the best thing you can do is always look for a pros and cons comparison. Whatever you are asking it for, it is always good to ask for why this is good and why this is bad. That would help you form a holistic opinion on the thing so that you're not just caught up in the hype of the AI chatbot. Okay, so the problem definition: high friction scholarship discovery plus time intensity, repetitive application preparation. The jobs to be done include discover relevant scholarships. That's high precision, not just recall. Okay. Then evaluate fit quickly. That is eligibility plus competitiveness. Then reduce application effort, drafting, documents prep, and personalization. Then increase probability of success, quality plus positioning. One of the other things that I would usually want to do, let's go back to the board, is it for especially for the drafting part. So we can have multiple agents. Even on the drafting part, we can have multiple agents. One agent would be responsible for the drafting. So one agent drafts, then we'll have another that reviews the draft. And usually you want this to be a critical appraiser. Critical critical appraiser of the draft. Because if you were I mean, you the human, if you were applying for a scholarship, you usually not write the first thing and just submit it. Mostly, if you ask people who apply for scholarships, you write and submit it to other people to review and give you feedback before you finalize it. Sometimes it is a series of back and forth efforts that eventually accumulate in having the best application. So you can do the same thing where your draft is written, but there is another agent that is responsible. When the draft is written, it's passed on the pipeline, is passed on to the next stage, and the next stage is review. Review should be critical appraiser, bringing out the pros and cons. Remember, if you ask it to tell you whether it is good or bad, it will tell you all the great things that you want to hear. So it should critically appraise it, indicating the pros and cons and highlighting all the gaps that needs to be filled for it to be complete, right? Then you have the editor who would rewrite it. And if you want, you can do another final round of reviews. But I think for the purposes of what we're trying to achieve, these three steps will be okay. So We have an agent that does a scouting of the internet. So we have a scout agent. It does a scouting. Then once an item is found, like this, it finds a new scholarship, it is going to add it to our pipeline. Then the next step would be matching or scoring the scholarship against our profile. Scoring agent. So this will be responsible for scoring. So the way you think about these things is if you had a set of assistants and each of them was specialized in something, how will you use them? So you have the guy whose responsibility is just search on the internet and find me scholarships. And mind you, the scholarship idea is just an example. So it could be anything. It could be anything that you want. So if it is jobs, you just find an agent that is finding you jobs. Then we have the scoring agent. This agent would score the thing that you found. So in this case, the scholarship you found against your profile and find whether it meets the threshold that you have set for yourself. If it meets the threshold, it moves it along the pipeline to the next one. And the next one would be the prep. How will I call it? The prep. Let's say prep agent. The prep agent's role would be it should now review the scholarship details and identify all the things that you need to prepare. So this agent will tell us that, oh, you need to write, say, an essay on this topic. If I need to write an essay on that topic, it puts that essay topic in the next pipeline. So that the next step would be the drafting agent. So this agent will be responsible for drafting the application. Then once that is drafted, the appraiser agent is the one that will do the critical appraiser. And mind you, you can call them anyhow, you can give them names if you wanted, but we are trying to come up with a solution. Appraisal agent. Then finally, it gets to the editor. The editor does the final writing based on feedback from the appraiser agent. Then we have a draft that is presented to you, the human, to review and finalize. Yeah, one, two, three, four, five, six. These are six different agents. The first one would have the web search capability. Okay, that's how I'm thinking about it right now. Let's look at what else ChatGPT had. The product vision, a personalized scholarship intelligence, and application co-pilot that continuously scans and updates opportunities, matches opportunities to a structured user profile, generates context aware application drafts, provides strategic guidance to improve success odds. Okay. Then key design principles precision is greater than volume. So sending 10 high quality matches beats 290 ones. Human in the loop. Fully autonomous submission is risky. Errors, misrepresentation. So keep user approval mandatory. Explainability. That's very, very important. Every recommendation must answer why am I a good fit for this? Then data normalization first, AI second, garbage in, garbage out. So passing scholarships is the real bottleneck. I guess in this case, it's really talking about passing the scholarship information that you get into your own database. So the architecture, all right, it goes sources, scholarship websites, it goes to scrape them, university pages, aggregators, Then the pipeline would be scrape and extract structured fields. That's eligibility, deadline, funding type, required documents, essay prompts, normalize into the schema that you get. Okay. Then the user profile engine. So structured profile, demographics, academic history, work experience, research interests, achievements, writing samples. Then a matching engine. This would be hybrid approach, a role-based filtering. Those are hard constraints like citizenship, GPA, degree level, then embedding similarity. Do I really want to do embedding similarity? Whew. I mean, in my current startup, we do embedding similarity. It goes a long way to help, but for the purposes of this project, I don't think we want to even do that. Mm, Instead of using embeddings, we just want an intelligent agent to be doing the comparison, and that would be it. I think that's what we'll go with. Instead of using embedding. Then the scoring model, we're using 40% eligibility, 30% relevance, 20% competitiveness, and 10% preferences. Okay. I mean, this is just hypothetical. ChatGPT just came out today, so we can change it if we wanted. Then AI application generator for each scholarship generate statement of purpose, personal statement. So you can do that. I mean, we don't want to. What we build or generate should be based on the specific requirement of the scholarship and not generate it for every scholarship. If their scholarship doesn't require a personal statement, there's no point writing a personal statement. Grounding will become very important, and it says no hallucinated achievement, pull only from profile. That's very true. Okay, the agents there are two modes: scheduled discovery agent or on demand search agent. The task will be crawl new scholarships, re rank matches, then trigger draft generation. Okay, so now I need to give ChatGPT my own feedback. Let's say, I think the reason it is trying to bloat this solution is because I told it about being a micro SaaS product, and maybe we go away from it being a micro SaaS product to being a personalized solution. Being a personalized solution. Yeah. Okay. I think let's do that. Let's forget the idea of being a micro SaaS and focus on a single tenant personal solution. We don't even need the embedding similarity for now. We just need to use our intelligent agent to make the decisions on whether I qualify for the scholarship or not, right? How I am thinking about the pipeline is this. We have we have a scout agent that does the scouting and saves its outcome. Then we have a scoring agent that takes the scholarship and scores it against my profile and determine whether it meets the threshold or not. Then, if it meets the threshold, we will have our draft agent draft the no. I think the prep agent. We'll have our prep agent read the prep agent read the details of the scholarship and propose all the documents that needs to be generated. The draft agent will then begin to generate these documents. I wonder if we'll be able to build this whole thing in a matter of 5 days. I need to be cognizant of that fact that we don't have several months to do this. We only have about a week to try and complete at least a functional MVP that is usable. So, knowing that constraint, I have to be mindful of what features we decide to include or not. But let's see how this goes. The draft agent will then begin to generate these documents. Then, once it generates those documents, we'll have our appraiser agent will critically appraise the drafts and provide all the pros and cons and gaps that needs to be addressed. Finally, our editor agent will review and review the recommendations from the appraisal agent and then write the final draft for us. Okay, so that is how I'm thinking about it. Was there any other thing? Then it becomes, then it's passed for human review and correction. Okay, yeah, that's how I'm thinking about it. So let's give it to ChatGPT. Let's see what it comes up with. It says, well, your pipeline is directionally sound, but agents deciding qualification without explicit rules will be brittle. I agree. Legibility is often deterministic. Citizenship, GPA, degree, deadlines. So if you don't encode hard constraints, your agents will misclassify. So in that case, we can have a schema that matches that schema. So it passes the scholarship data to the schema, then it matches that schema against my profile. I think that would be it. Here is a tighter production ready version of your single tenant system. So pro filter layer, before any agent runs, pass scholarship into structured fields. Yeah, so I would agree with that. Citizenship requirements, degree level, GPA thresholds, field of study, deadline, and apply strict rules. If citizenship is not equal to allowed, reject. If degree level mismatch, reject. If deadline pass, reject. Yeah, that's very important. This eliminates approximately 60 to 80% of noise cheaply. Then the scout agent, data acquisition, responsibility, discover scholarships, extract raw plus semi-structured data, output schema must be enforced. Okay, yeah, I agree. Title, provider, deadline, legibility tests, requirements, essay prompt, and benefits, source URL. Avoid autonomy here. Use controlled scraping plus extraction prompts. For the web search, I believe we can use tools like, what is that thing called? Tavili? Tavili. Let me confirm. Tavili is a real-time search engine for AI agents and RAG workflows. Yeah. So we can use Tavili. I think the last time I used it, their free tier is pretty generous. You have 1,000 API credits per month. Yeah, I think it's pretty generous. If you're using it alone, you probably be able to achieve what you want. Tested it a couple of times and it was pretty good. Based on the structured profile, okay, then fit scoring, academic alignment, career, this separation is critical. Okay, I agree. Prep agent, this is a high value step many people skip. Responsibility, extract all required components, essays, CV, transcripts, recommendation letters, infer hidden expectations, leadership emphasis, research orientation, impact narrative. Okay. Then draft agents, grounded generation. This is where most systems fail. The constraint must only use your profile, provided experiences, no fabrication. That's very important. Technique is using retriever augmented prompting from your profile store. Okay, makes sense. Then for the appraiser agent, we want to force adversarial behavior. So act as a scholarship reviewer, identify weakness, generic phrasing, lack of specificity, and misalignment to the scholarship goals. All right. Yeah. Editor agents, responsibilities is incorporate appraiser feedback, improve specificity, narrative coherence, and persuasiveness. Important, do not just polish grammar, must rewrite structuring. So in this case, I'll say we also need to ensure that the editor agent is grounded in our profile and doesn't hallucinate or fabricate other information just to make a solid application. Okay. Then simplified for personal use. You do not need complex orchestration frameworks yet. Simple Node, Nest.js, minimal stack. I mean, we can basically let's simplify it. We can use Nest.js, one of my favorite frameworks for building anything. Nest.js framework. Then we can use A to A, I believe, agent to agent if needed. A to A protocol from Google. Oh, I think it's an SDK. A to A. Oh, is it a protocol or an SDK? So there's an SDK. Okay. I believe there's a TypeScript SDK. So it's a protocol, but there's an SDK to implement the protocol. Okay. Yep. A to A SDK, say TypeScript, or something like the AI SDK. I think that's AI SDK by Vessel if needed. And simplify everything. we can use Postgres SQL with Prisma, and let's see, AI layer. For now, let's not worry about abstraction. So we can use Gemini. Use Gemini for the AI, or for the LLM components. At least the reason I prefer to use Gemini when I'm building some of these tools now is because of their generous free tier. I do not need to input any credit card details if I want to test out their free tier. So it makes sense to use it when you're testing out your ideas. So you go with Gemini, then let's see what else. What else will we do? I want to see what queuing. Sometimes it's necessary, but for this particular project, is it really necessary? You can use if needed. If needed, we can use vessel cron. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to at least have some technical knowledge. But if you don't have any at all, you can play with these things, and over time you would learn. Like, use this as a learning means, a means to learn. And if you don't understand anything, you just ask it back, right? Because I have experience, I can understand when it is trying to do something complex, and when I would prefer something simple, or if I want to keep it, or I have preferences as a software engineer myself. I have my own set of preferences, tools that I've worked with that I'm familiar with. And if they're good for me, I would prefer those, right? Okay. So let's go on. Say storage, PostgreSQL, JSON blobs for drafts, AI layer, single LLM with role-based prompt. Agents here is prompt rows plus state transition, not separate systems. No, I think we should be able to build agents. I want us to build like real agents. So hold on, let's find out the definition. What is the technical definition of an AI agent? I think there are 4 components. I need those 4 components. So yeah, the brain, the memory, planning, and tools. That's what I want. I want us to build real agents. So memory, LLM, tools, planning. These are 4. I think there were 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And I believe the A2A protocol or SDK will help us. The A2A is the agent to agent, but I think Google has Google has, is it the A2A? Google AI agents. Let me see. Oh, so this is what I was looking for. The ADK. Yeah, not the A2A. The A2A is when agents are communicating with agents, but the agents development kit is the ADK is what I was looking for. Building AI agents with ADK. That's basically what I was looking for. So we come back and tell it, I believe we can use Google's ADK to build the agents. There are a lot of these tools, or I'd call them development kits, that are available now, and every one of them has their own paradigm. Every one of them has specifications on how you can use them. But because we are going to use Gemini, it makes sense for us to use the ADK, which is the agent development kit developed by Google, so that we can easily create agents. Then when we create the agents, and you have multiple agents that you want to communicate with one another, then we use the A to A protocol, but Google also has the development kits for the A to A protocol, such that one agent can talk to the other. So definitely what's pushing in that direction. But if you have no idea about these things, then it means you're just going to go with exactly what ChatGPT is recommending for you. When I do these things, like right now as we're doing, like I forgot about ADK, but by doing this live stream, for instance, now I remember, right? And we're going to use it to build a product. It would now stick, such that subsequently, if I need to build another agent, I know exactly what to be looking out for. So that's why I highly recommend that you start playing around and mastering some of these things. Even if you don't have experience right now, experience is a factor or a function of time. If you keep doing it over time, you become experienced. And your goal when you're doing this is to really open your eyes and learn. Okay, so this guy is saying that it's an overkill, so I should slow down. I thought ChatGPT was known to hype people. Okay. It says yeah, converging on a solid architecture, but real agents with planning plus memory is overkill at this stage and will slow you down. What you actually need is deterministic orchestration with constrained agents behavior, not open-ended autonomy, especially given the importance of accuracy and non-fabrication. So let me listen to what it has to say in terms of the architecture. Okay. It says here's what you propose: four agents, that's memory planning tools, plus ADK plus multi-agent autonomy. What you should do now, the V1, deterministic pipeline plus role-based agent. Each agent is equal to controlled function. As there is fixed input, structured output, no independence planning. Okay. Planning agents introduce unpredictability, debugging difficulty, higher hallucination risks. You don't need them yet. Okay. So Next.js, yes, Postgres plus Prisma. Gemini is a good choice for long context plus cost. The agents part, okay, we'll use AI SDK by Vessel. That's also cool. All right. Search, we'll use Tavily. That's also cool. Then scheduling, Vessel Cron. That's cool. The agent design, make them real but controlled. Instead of autonomous agents, define agents is equal to prompts plus tools plus schema plus guardrails. Okay, I mean, we can do that. Two, stably search for the scout agent. Then a prompt to be constraints. A prompt constraint would be only retain scholarships, not blogs, ads, must include source URL. Okay. Then for the extractor, add this: missing in your plan. This is essential. Why raw web data is messy. Okay, yeah, it's important. Scoring agent must not assume missing profile data, must explicitly state uncertainty, return a confidence score. Yeah, good. Then a draft agent, this is where grounding matters most. Grounding strategy is non-negotiable. So profile locking before generation, convert your profile into something like that. Then prompt constraint, explicit instruction. You are not allowed to introduce any fact not present in profile. If information is insufficient, leave a placeholder. All right, that's cool. This is how you eliminate hallucination. All right. Then appraiser agents make it adversarial. I agree. Detect generic statements, lack of metrics, weak storytelling, misalignment. Then for editor agent, you're right to worry. This is where hallucination often re-enters. Solution: two-layer editing, structural rewrite, improve flow clarity, then validation, recheck against profile, add constraints. If a suggested improvement requires new facts, mark it instead of inventing it. Okay. Memory design, simple but effective. Do not need complex agent memory. All right. Use three layers: static memory, your profile; episodic memory, past applications, feedback from appraiser agents; and derived memory, patterns. Leadership examples work well, need stronger metrics. All right. That is good. So this is the orchestration. Avoid agent to agent chatter. Use a central controller. This is where run pipeline, then we have scholarships await scout, and for scholarship or S of scholarship. So for each of the scholarships, we want to await extract, and then the filter for eligibility. Then we continue to score. Then if score is less than threshold, continue. Okay. ADK is useful if you need multi-agent negotiation, dynamic planning, two ecosystems. You don't, using it will increase complexity. All right, I agree. The biggest technical risk is silent hallucination. Even if constraints, models paraphrase incorrectly, slightly exaggerate claims. Mitigation will be fact reference mapping and final validation pass. What will make this system exceptional? All right. Okay, so now let's design the comprehensive product requirement document. Okay, so at least we now have an idea of what we want to build and what needs to go in there. So we need to come up with the plan or the requirements of the product that we're trying to build. Then once we get this, usually I'll take this to something like Claude as well to review, then see if it has any other suggestions that I missed here. Then before I proceed to build anything. But at least we have done 1 hour 17 minutes. So we're good to pause here. We have our PRD ready to move. And on our next stream, which is God willing tomorrow, we're going to start looking into this and starting to implement. I'm not sure whether we'll do the prototyping before the build or we go straight to the build, but we'll see how that goes tomorrow. But at least today we started off without an idea and we figured out we want to do something with web search functionality in there that scouts the internet either automatically or on a schedule or can be manually triggered to do that. Then we settled on going after scholarships. So if I wanted to apply for scholarships, we want to build an agent that will help us do that. So basically, that is what we've been able to achieve. We have a plan, and tomorrow we're going to continue from there. I hope you learned something throughout the stream. If you have any questions, any recommendations, things that you want us to try and build, just drop them in the chat. I'm happy to take them. And even if you leave comments when you're watching the replay, I would read them, review them, and in subsequent streams, I'll be happy to respond to them or build solutions in line with that. Thank you all so much for joining the stream today. I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's stream as we continue to build this. Remember, this is a weekly build. Like we are building every week, at least for the we our target was for 4 weeks at least. Last week we did one, and this week we are going strong, building a new solution. Next week we'll be here to build another one. Wait, next week, yeah, I'll confirm that. But feel free to jump in, send me a DM if you're watching from X or even Facebook. Send me a message, YouTube, holla, leave your comments, and I'm happy to respond to them. Thank you all so much, and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. Now let's listen to a song and go. Ooh.
Then I rise. I read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I trust my time. No cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus, I play my game. Step by step, I go. Step by step, I
Hey,
grow. Smart
even though
moves,
I don't know how to
clean
sing, but
wins.
yeah,
Watch
this
me
is my
take
song
my
that
road.
I'm
Step by
jamming
step,
to
I
today.
rise. Step by step, I know better every day. That's how winners
I
grow.
need to play the other ones before I leave today. This is another one.
Started with a little, now I move with purpose. Empty
Yeah,
pocket
so
mornings,
if
turn the
this is the
tables,
first
turn
time
the
you are seeing
service.
the stream,
Had
actually,
to learn the hard
all
way.
these music,
Every scar was
I
coaching me.
generated them with
Now I
AI.
read the room fast and I
The
let my
reason why
work
you need to
speak
start
for me.
learning how to use AI.
Small ones add up, brick by brick. I kept my head up,
So
stayed on my
in the
grip.
past, it
One
was
door
very
closed, next
difficult
one
to
open. I've
use
been sowing
music
now,
that
I'm
has
reaping
no
golden.
copyright
Step
issues.
by step,
And
I'm building it
when you are
high.
when you are streaming live or even pre-recorded videos, it becomes difficult because you don't have music or audio that is free to use, and you have to pay for money. You have to keep renewing the licenses. So mostly those are monthly subscriptions that you pay for. But with the power of AI now, you can basically generate your own music. So today I generated my own music and I am dancing to them.
Step by step, I'm touching the sky. Money come, money stay. I don't chase it, I attract my way.
Money come, money stay. I
Step by
don't
step,
change.
I'm winning today. I know what I'm worth now, so I price my peace right. No more moving reckless, I protect my sleep at night. Invest in a vision, put my heart
Invest
where
in
the
a
plan
vision.
is. Now the sea turned forest, and my name on the grand list. Small ones add up, brick by brick. I kept my head up, stayed on my grip. One door closed, next one open. I've been sowing, now I'm reaping golden. Step by step, I'm building it high. Step by step, I'm touching the sky. Money come, money stay, I don't change, I attract my way. Step by step, I'm winning today. If it took time, then it was mine. If I fell down, I got back fine. Now I smile wide with my hands full. From the ground up, that's how I rule. Step by step, I'm building it high.
Eh?
Step by step, I'm touching the sky. Money come, money stay, I don't chase, I attract my way. Step by step, I'm winning today.
The next one before we go.
Hey, whoa, uh. Started with a little, now I move with purpose.
Started with a little.
Empty pocket mornings, turn to tables, turn to service. Had to learn the hard way, every scar was coaching me. Now I read the room fast and I let my work speak for me. Small wins add up, brick by brick I kept my head up. Stayed on my grip, one door closed, next one open. I've been sowing now, I'm reaping and golden. Step by step, I'm building it high. Step by step, I'm touching the sky. Money come, money stay, I don't chase, chase, I attract my way. Step by step, I'm winning today. I know what I'm worth now, so I price my peace right. No more moving reckless. I protect my sleep at night. Invest in a vision. Put my heart where the plan is. Now the sea turned forest, and my name on the grand list. Small wins add up. Brick by brick, I kept my head up. Stayed on my grip. One door closed, next one open. I've been sowing now. I'm reaping golden. Step by step, I'm building it high. Step by step, I'm touching the sky. Money come, money stay. I don't chase, I attract my way. Step by step, I'm winning today. If it took time, that it was mine. If I fell down, I got back fine. Now I smile wide, with my hands full. From the ground up, that's how I roll. Step by step, I'm building it high. Step by step, I'm touching the sky. Money come, money stay. I don't chase, I attract my way. Step by step, I'm winning today.
All right, the last one. Step by step, last one.
I used to rush the road, now I move with grace. Little by little, I found my pace. New mind, clean steps, sharp eyes on the prize. I learn from the fall, then I rise, then I rise. I read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I trust my time. No cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus, I play my game. Step by step I go, step by step I grow. Smart moves, clean wins, watch me take my role. Step by step I rise, step by step I know. Better every day, that's how winners grow. I cut the noise out, keep my circle tight. Old doubts left behind, I'm built for the light. I save my energy for what feeds my fire. One good decision takes me high, higher. I read the room, I read the signs. I choose my lane, I trust my time. No cheap applause, no borrowed flame. I keep my focus, I play my game. Step by step I go, step by step I grow. Smart moves, clean wins, watch me take my role. Step by step I rise, step by step I know. Better every day, that's how winners grow. I was not there yet, now I'm closer now. Every lesson hit made me stronger now. If the doors stay hard, I learned the law. I don't chase love, I build my store. Step by step I grow, step by step I grow. Smart moves, clean wins, watch me take my role. Step by step I rise, step by step I know. Better every day, that's how winners grow. Step by step I win, step by step I grow. Game of life, I'm here, and I move the show.
All right, that is the end of today's show. Super, super excited. learning, growing step by step, becoming better by the day, coding and building things, having fun doing it. Thank you all, and I'll see you, God willing, tomorrow. It's exactly okay. Let me count down to the 30th. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 1 hour, 30 minutes of stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.